Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another video with Brooklyn. How are you all doing this Thursday morning? So anyway, I'm going to jump right into the video. I'm going to talk about reality TV show star Jhonni Blaze. It is allegedly being said, that allegedly Mama Blaze, her mother, allowed her to be mishandled by a lot of men when she was coming up as a child, okay? So now her mother has taken to social media to defend herself. And I want to start off by saying this. People are saying that her mother is defending herself awfully hard if she's innocent, okay, of allowing her daughter to be abused by men, multiple men. Now, Jhonni Blaze stated in an interview that her mother allowed her to be taken and mishandled by men inappropriately, okay, doing all types of things to her body. That would be sex trafficking, okay? That's what that would be, because she said allowed her to be taken. Now, Mama Blaze is most definitely defending herself. And in Mama Blaze's defense, if that was me and my child made that statement worldwide like that, or United States wide, wherever everybody could see the interview, I would defend myself too, to the utmost. People are saying that she's doing too much, defending herself, crying on social media, and just, you know, if she's so innocent, why is she defending herself so much? I would too. That's like going to court and people accusing you of murdering somebody and you just sit there and you just don't say much because you know you didn't do it. You had better speak up, because that's this woman's reputation. People started coming for Mama Blaze, you know? People started questioning her and saying things about her. So I don't think that she's doing too much. I would defend myself if I couldn't do nothing else, if I was innocent. People defend themselves to the end and they're guilty. And they will continue to defend themselves. So I don't know why people are saying that, you know, she's doing too much as far as defending herself. But Mama Blaze, of course, denied it. But Mama Blaze did make some statements. She said that she always worked. Mama Blaze said that her mother and her own stepfather had money. They were well known, you know, as far as, you know, they had a good reputation. They worked. You know, they had money. But she made sure that she worked multiple jobs to make sure that Jhonni Blaze and her siblings were taken care of. She worked in a hospital and she traveled, you know, and she left her kids wherever she left her kids to go make a living for her children. Now, I have to say this, a lot of parents make that mistake. They are working so hard and they are not around to protect their children. And you have to support your children and give them a life, but you also have to make sure that you are able to balance it out, because children are vulnerable and children need their parents. Parents were assigned to take care of their children, you know, and a lot of times when you leave your children in the care of other people, whether it's family members or whomever, a lot of times they do not take care of your children the way that you would take care of your child. Sometimes they take care of them even better. It depends on the person and the circumstance. But when Jhonni Blaze's mother made the statement that she worked all the time, that gave me a red flag that, okay, it is very much so possible that men were doing what they wanted to do to Jhonni Blaze as a young girl, okay? They can do it to you and your parents are home all the time. They can do things to you and your parents are home all the time. So most definitely, if your parents are leaving you and going to work, her mother made statements that she went to Germany to work. She was just doing the most, providing, you know, support for her children. And I'm not blaming her, because a lot of parents do that, you know. But what I'm saying is, you have to, at the forefront, your children come first. You have to make sure your children are safe. You have to make sure who is being around your children. Ask your children questions, you know. And Jhonni Blaze is, I guess, evidently blaming her mother for allowing her to be abused. You know, she said her mother allowed her to be taken. You know, so I don't know if they, when you say taken, that gives a whole nother level to the word, you know, sexual abuse, because it's like they took you and they sold you into sex trafficking industry, unless they took her out of the home and, did what they had to do. But that's neither here nor there. The girl said that she's been sexually molested, and I, for one, believe it because I know that can happen. I know a lot of people who grew up in the church and their parents stayed in church so much that the children were being mistreated, mishandled in the church. Well, at home, outside of the church, while their parents were in the church on the altar praying, the children were being, abused. And it's possible. It is so possible. And her mother did make the statement that she worked all the time. And she had to make a life for her children and give her children the best. She didn't want them out there with nothing. Her children had the best. She said they ate the best. They had the best. She made sure that they were taken care of. And that's great. Kudos. A lot of parents have to do that. I'm going to assume that she was a single parent because she worked all these hours and she worked all these different shifts. But at the same time, you have to make sure your children are safe before any job come along, because evidently Mama Blaze didn't know that her daughter had been abused. And her daughter is saying by multiple men. It don't seem like it's just like one person. It seemed like it was like a host of different people. When she say men, she allowed men. My mother allowed men to take her. Now I don't know if she's using take as the term of take me and have me the way they wanted to have me, because when you use the word take, it's like they actually took you away. So it depends on how she's actually using that in her, how she's filtering it in her head. My mother let men take me and do what they wanted to do with me, or they literally took me. I don't know. It doesn't even matter. If she was, not if, she said she was abused, then I have to believe that she was abused. I mean, you can't say that she wasn't abused. I would say that Jhonni Blaze was abused. She's saying that her mother allowed it. It's her mother's fault. That would indicate to me that her mother knew. Now, inadvertently, you could say that it's her mother's fault because her mother was never home. Her mother worked all the time. Inadvertently. Do I feel like her mother deliberately allowed men to come in and have her way with her daughter? From what I seen and what I could hear, her mother breaking down, it does not seem like that. It seemed like she was genuinely hurt that she was being accused of this heinous act. But because a lot of parents do allow their children to be abused. A lot of parents, a lot of women will let men do whatever they want to do just to have a man or whatever. But is this the case here? I can't say that that's the case with Jhonni Blaze and Mama Blaze. I cannot say that because she seemed to be genuinely hurt. She seemed to be genuinely upset, and I know people are saying, well, she shouldn't care. She knows she didn't do that, then it shouldn't bother her. Yes, it will bother anyone that's being accused of a crime, especially against your child, because at the end of the day, you would be just as guilty as the perpetrator because you were not there. Parents are supposed to protect their children. Things happen. You go to work, you're not working 2 jobs. You could be working 1 job during the normal workday hours while your children are in school, and things can still happen. I'm not saying things can't happen, but when you're never home because you're constantly working to earn money, according to Mama Blaze, she worked like around the clock. So it is definitely possible to happen because, like I said, it can happen when you're not even out of the house. You're at home and it can happen. You could be a stay-at-home mom and people abuse your children. So I'm hoping that, it reminds me a lot of China and her mother Tokyo. They have a really, really bad, relationship. And this situation right here seems to really, really have put a knife in this relationship, This, I don't know how was any coming back from this, unless, they're willing to, talk about it and try to get past it, Evidently, I don't know if Mama Blaze knew about it. I'm being led to believe that she, according to Jhonni Blaze, her mother allowed it, so that means that you would know about it. The mother is saying that she would not ever do anything like that. So she's indicating that she did not know that her daughter was abused, you know? And she was crying. It was just awful. It's just an awful scene, you know? And she seems to be genuinely hurt, but I can understand Johnny's situation too. You know, I was, you know, molested and I was mishandled by men, you know? And you know, I'm angry with my mom because a lot of times children blame their mothers because the mother is who is always with the child. Normally, if the father is in the home, he's the one that's out going working. He's the one that's in the street. Or normally when there is a broken home, the child 9 times out of 10 is with the mother, you know. So a lot of times children blame their mother for not protecting them, you know, and it's just sad, you know. They don't blame, excuse me, y'all. They don't blame the caregiver. They blame their mama. You know, they blame their mama and everything. They don't blame the caregiver. They blame their mothers. And it's just a sad thing, you know. And that can cause you to harbor resentment inside. That can cause you to harbor hate, you know. If Jhonni Blaze's mother didn't know this took place all these years, Jhonni had to have some resentment in her. She had to. For her just to come out with it in the media like that, it had to. My phone holder, y'all, these things get on my nerve. That's why I stopped buying them, because they don't last. They just break down and start shifting on their own, you know. So thank God I got clothes on down to the bottom, because y'all would see the whole world, you know. Look at there. But anyway, it's just a mess. I'm gonna have to fix this with some glue or something so it don't shift. But I'm not buying another one. I'm not spending another $5 to buy another phone holder. It's $5. It still should last. I mean, I only had it a good, week or so? But anyway, I hope Jhonni Blaze and her mother can work through this. I hope that they can get past it, you know, and move on and get some healing and find some healing, because that's a tough thing. You know, that's a tough thing, you know, to be able to have to deal with. You know, it's just hard, you know, and I was not in that situation. My mom did work. You know, she worked a 9 to 5 most times. Sometimes she worked a second job, especially around the holidays, you know. But I was a latchkey kid. I came home. I went to a babysitter, and my babysitter was an alcoholic, and she drank. Like, she would hide the beer in the hamper in the bathroom, and her husband would come home in the afternoon, and he would go straight to the hamper. I was probably in the 3rd or 4th grade. It was me and some other kids. He would go straight to the hamper, and he would throw that beer down the hallway and cuss her out every day, Monday through Friday. We would be terrified. She had 2 daughters. We would be terrified. Her name was Miss Hattie. And we would be terrified. And she would pick us up after school and bring us home to the house. She lived in the same apartment building. We all lived in the same apartment building. It was me and 5 other kids. They were siblings. 3 of them were siblings and 2 of them were siblings. And it was me. I was the only child. And she would come pick us up, bring us into the house, tell us to get our homework started. And she would go into the bathroom, like pull her pants down, leave the bathroom door open so she could listen to her soap operas down the hallway in the living room. And she's up the hallway in the bathroom on the toilet. And then she would be just drinking the whole time while she's on the toilet. She would have those great big 40-ounce beer bottles, and she'd just be on the toilet drinking the whole time. And her husband would come home every day and go straight to the hamper, because she would hide him in the hamper every day. He would take them out and bust them, and she would be crying, and he'd be cussing and carrying on. It was awful. I told my mother, and that's how I became a latchkey kid. I was like 9. Because I had to start staying home by myself, because they were abusive. Her daughter would cuss her out and be screaming at us, and it was awful. So I became a latchkey kid. So it is possible that your children can be abused whether it's physically or verbally, emotionally, mentally, and parents are working just a regular job, not even working all over the planet, you know, or they could just be a stay-at-home mom, and children are being mistreated at school by teachers and things. So it can happen. So I cannot discount and discredit Jhonni Blaze's admission. I cannot. I have to say that it's true that Jhonni Blaze was mistreated. She was abused by multiple men. Now, whether her mother knew about it or not, Jhonni Blaze didn't make it known, or maybe she did make it known, but she's saying that her mother allowed it. So that would say that her mother knew about it and did nothing. That's what, but I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying that's what it seems like Jhonni Blaze is trying to say, you know? And I just hope that really wasn't the case. But, you know, they say you have to believe children, you know? And I don't know why Jhonni Blaze, being a grown woman, would just lie on her mother all willy-nilly. People do, but I just don't know, you know, why she would just lie, you know? So anyway, I'm going to end it right here. And with that being said, I'm going to say vielen Dank. That's thank you very much in German. So vielen Dank for watching me. And choose, that's what? That's bye in German.